Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show today. I'm glad you could join us. So a lot of stuff we're going to be diving into today. We're going to be talking to a really interesting founder who's done a lot of really cool things. Before we started the show, I think he said his business died like 18 times since inception, and he's been able to come through and just get a ton of funding for the business. We're going to talk about all those things. You know, I know a lot of you can relate to that, to thinking that you've almost at the brink of failure and then you bring it back to life. Talk about raising capital and talk a lot about technology today and the technology that's out there that can help you succeed. So with us today is Arjun Rai. Now, Arjun is a New York City-based entrepreneur who's on a mission to support small businesses with the power of visualized data science and artificial intelligence for digital marketing at HelloWoofy.com. Now, firm believer that every SMB should have an unfair advantage to compete against unlimited marketing budgets. Okay, he has raised from professional investors and personally invested nearly $500,000 in pre-seed VC funding, as well as obtained in corporate partners, including Fortune 500 companies such as Microsoft and Google, resulting in over $135,000 in strategic resources. Now, since high school, Arjun has been networking with some of the most well-known entrepreneurs and even worked on a few projects and startups of his own. Okay, upon graduation, Arjun pursued his career opportunities and came to New York City, where he enrolled at the New York Institute of Technology in 2011 with scholarships and grants. And following a few weeks into college, he launched his second startup, FuelBright.com, a social media agency that focused on small businesses and startups, and a student-focused organization, the BizDen. Now, Arjun currently lives in New York City with his girlfriend, 2 cats, and a dog. I got to ask about that. I want to see if cats and dogs do get along or don't. And you can find him working from home, doing carpentry, pitching his startup at a meetup, or driving around town on his e-scooter. Arjun, thanks for coming to the show today.
Absolutely, and thanks for having me. And I know we were talking before the show. I genuinely believe that we can add a lot of value into every entrepreneur's life today, especially in this economy. You got to be creative, you got to hustle. And we're going to be talking about things exactly how to do that.
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, a lot of times, and almost always, I have a guest on that just kind of talks about one specific topic, and yours is tech, and there's a lot of cool things I want to dive into there. But your background is just so interesting, man. It's so cool because I think your story is very relative to a lot of people listening and watching today because they kind of feel the same way. They've kind of, you know, saved their business from the brink more than once for it to get back to almost failure and then brought it back. So talk to me a little bit about kind of your path with your current company to where you are now.
Yeah, so we started the company officially. We incorporated the company in 2016. So it's been a while, right? It's been a couple of years, but we didn't actually get focused in terms of finding the perfect market fit, you know, the product market fit until just 6 months ago. So in about 6 months, in under 6 months, we've driven nearly $130,000 in sales. We found, you know, we've done over 1.2 million API calls, which again, we can talk about as well later in the show, talking about tech. But all of that amazing usage and traction, including 3,300 users, B2B users around the world, all of it came through a lot of strategic partnerships, came through channel partners, it came through, you know, affiliate partners, it came through Facebook ads. You know, these are some of the top traction channels for us. And, you know, we can talk about how you identify your traction channel, but there's a really good, really good book about this, and, from the founder of DuckDuckGo, which I highly recommend to find your traction channel. There are about 30 in there. It could be newsletters, it could be radio shows, it could be podcasts. For us, like I said, it was Facebook ads, affiliate marketing, and channel partners like AppSumo, for example.
That's interesting. So with the path that you've been so far, and you said this before we kind of got started, that you failed almost 18 times before, you know, you keep finding these successes. So what's that like? I mean, you know, because it's interesting. I just had a guest that I interviewed, and she helps startups. And this is one of the things she said is that the recent survey data shows the number one reason that startups fail is because they don't have a product market match. Basically, they're not solving a problem or linking their product solution up well enough to the people they can solve the problem with. Was that the story in your world, or what brought you almost to the brink of failure and then to success?
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's a bit of a technology and a human factor in that story itself. So originally, we wanted to build just like Hootsuite, which everyone may know about, you know, being the most popular social media scheduler on the market. We wanted to build that on mobile so that influencers, you know, people on the go, they could control their content marketing, they could control their social media management, you know, all of the needs that they have around that, you know, that side of the business on the go, whether they're in the car, they're heading to the airport, they're on the airplane, whatever that may be. We wanted to build that tool that was fully inside their pocket. We quickly figured out after 10,000 users that all of those people wanted a desktop version. We were obviously in the wrong screen. They wanted a desktop version because they wanted more real estate space to be able to see the analytics, be able to manage their content, so on and so forth. So we pivoted actually to a desktop version, got into an accelerator, raised a little bit of capital, including capital from Peter Thiel's Scout Venture. If you guys know Peter Thiel, one of the co-founders of PayPal, there's a great firm that we raised capital from 15, 17. Then we got into an accelerator. Then we figured out that artificial intelligence is actually what we need to focus on, because that gives a small business owner and a small agency or even a solopreneur an unfair advantage, almost like having a 24/7 social media agency working for you, finding content, curating content, finding the right hashtags and the emojis, which, by the way, we can talk all about emojis. They drive huge amounts of uplift and engagement. And we programmatically figure out which ones are not only relevant, but which ones are contextually being used in real time, and so on and so forth. We have a lot of data on emojis. And so we started building that technology for desktop. Now, the human factor, talking about failures, is fortunately I had to fire my co-founder and also fire my CTO. There was not a culture fit. We figured out that certain things were happening that were not okay. And it was just, I had to fire my friend of 6 years. Now, that's a tough decision to make. I'm sure many of your listeners have been down that road, but we picked ourselves up. We had $10,000 or $12,000 left in the bank. And we said, we're going to build this company and we're going to succeed no matter what. And lo and behold, we found the right development team. We found the right kind of customers, the right kind of channel partners. And within a year, we have launched a newly built product from scratch, entirely built from scratch, with the right kind of human beings behind it, because they were passionate and they were driven to support small businesses. And like I said, in the last 6 months, we've done nearly $120,000, $130,000 in sales. We've had so many partners that have come to us. Now they're more and more affiliates are coming to us, and they just want to support other small businesses using our technology, because they see the benefit of using a technology that is light years ahead at enterprise grade level, technology, but for the price of a cup of coffee. That is unprecedented data science for you.
So how do you make that adjustment? So you came in, you said, look, we're going to produce a product like this for mobile. And that was the whole thing. But then the product you realize needs to be on PC, which is exactly what the problem is. It seems like you were trying to solve. So did you kind of find that the problem of them accessing stuff on mobile wasn't really a problem that they wanted to be solved?
Well, here's the thing. You got to be okay with putting yourself out of business, which is one thing that Gary Vaynerchuk says all the time. But you got to be okay with nuking your own business as well. Not just putting yourself out, but you have to nuke the technology, the product, the service that you've built, right? And so if you don't do that, someone else is going to do that for you. We listened to our customers from the get-go. They wanted mobile. Initially we thought that they wanted to be on the go and controlling their marketing. Boy, were we wrong. They wanted a larger screen size. They have tablets. They have laptops in the backpack that they can be using at the airport, on the way to the airport, right? And so we pivoted, and today with 3,300 users, most of which are paying, the market kind of told us where we should have been. And obviously, if we hadn't nuked ourselves early, whether from a human capital side or from a technology side, we wouldn't be here. In fact, I wouldn't be on your show talking about how we nuked ourselves. And thank God we're innovating. There's a huge announcement coming out at the end of this month that's going to be furthering our mission to support small businesses by tens of millions around the world. There's a lot coming out of our company. And so stay tuned at HelloWoofy.com for all of that coverage.
What's that announcement? I'm just kidding, man. I'm just testing you.
Can't talk about it, but it's riveting, and I really want to talk about it, but I can't.
I was just trying to teach you, see what would happen. So what about this cap raise, man? You've raised a bunch of capital. How did you even figure that out to go about raising capital, and how's that worked out for you so far?
So here's the thing. I believe in the law of attraction. So if your viewers know, or if your listeners know about the law of attraction, if they've listened to or read the book called The Secret, or even if they know about Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich from over 120 years ago, they understand mindset, which is super important. You could be your greatest enemy or your greatest friend when it comes to mindset at the founder level or the co-founder level. And what that means is every path, every decision we made, we were like, oh shit, we're almost about to run out of cash. How do we survive? For some reason or the other, people showed up, capital showed up, opportunities showed up, and they allowed us to survive another couple of weeks, another couple of months. So case in point, About 9 months ago, a TV show reached out to us and they said, hey, would you like to be on our show? We auditioned, we got rejected. A couple of weeks later, they said, hey, we have a couple of more openings. Would you like to be on the show? I was like, hell yeah. And they said, absolutely, come on board. We'll accept you. We'll fly you out to California, and let's go on stage and help you get on the TV show. What they also mentioned is that the TV show is in partnership with an equity crowdfunding platform called Republic. And what that allows you to do, if people don't know equity crowdfunding, take a look at this. The regulation is changing by the minute, and is definitely going to be helping people raise capital outside institutional investors. And so what that allows us to do is raise capital from our customers, raise capital from people who are non-accredited. And there's obviously a limit to how much they can invest on a yearly basis based on their income. But it allows the average Joe to invest in humble companies like us $100, $50, $2,000 at a time if they choose to. At the same time, accredited investors can put in $10,000, $25,000, whatever they choose to do as well. So in a matter of a couple of months, and we also aired our first episode on TV, we were able to raise nearly $400,000, and we just closed 3 weeks ago, and we're going to be launching another equity crowdfunding because people still want to invest in our company. They still want to own a piece of it, and they believe in our mission. To your point, from the introduction, that every small business owner should have an unfair advantage technologically when it comes to competing with their business, competitors who have unlimited marketing budgets. And so they believe in that. And so we're going to be taking full advantage of, Reg CF, which is what it's known as, or equity crowdfunding. And, I'm happy to, help people, refer you to Republic if you want. If you're raising capital, reach out to us. We're happy to refer you to the right resources.
That's awesome. And it sounds like you guys are doing great things with it. Speaking of that, what is the problem that you guys are really trying to solve?
Yeah, so here's a problem. When you take a look at tools like the Hootsuite of the world, and I'm going to go start screen sharing now. When you take a look at tools like the Hootsuite of the world, we have obviously a tremendous amount of respect for them. But at the end of the day, they don't offer anything more than this kind of a user interface. Now, Ty, can you see my screen where it's?
I can. We can see it. Yep.
In the Hootsuite interface. A lot of respect for Ryan, what he's built in over a decade at the company. But the fact of the matter is, a tool like this doesn't give you minute details around, was it the emojis that did really well or not so much? Was it the copy? Was it the hashtag? Was it the image? The size of the image? Was it the sentiment of the post itself? Doesn't give you much of that information, but it's $30. It's obviously it's affordable. But when you go upstream to tools that look more like this. Now, obviously, we're showing you a Radiant 6, which is now known as Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Of course, you're getting a lot more information. You're getting a lot more detail, but you kind of have to take this information, go back to your team if you can afford one as a small business owner. And then with your team, you have to curate and create content on your own. Because what you may think this does is doesn't do magic tricks for you. At $100,000 a year in pricing, you would expect it to do a ton of tricks for you, right? Create content, curate it, all of the magic. But it doesn't do any of that. And this isn't just true for this product, it's true for all enterprise products. So when you take a look at a tool like us, we not only make it super, super visual and friendly to use, but when you start creating content, what you'll notice is immediately, if I start typing in, for example, you can see it's giving you the recommendation for RE to complete the word R, and then the next best word, which is you. Now you may think this is like the simplest thing ever, but at scale, people don't want to have to think about what they need to type. They just want the thing to do the magic for them. So as you can see here, if I just tab my way through, it'll say, how are you, ? And then I can type in, I love you. There you go. Now, based on, let's just go ahead and type in, I love you, because obviously type, we love you on the show. Then what will happen is it'll give you emoji recommendations based on not a couple of conversations, but over 153 million conversations. It feels that these emojis that are being produced or being shown on the bottom programmatically are the most relevant contextually and have been used with one another. Furthermore, it'll then give you images, copyright-free images. Guys, small business owners, calling small business owners, do not go to Google and search for an image and then just use that image in your social post. You have no idea whether it's copyright-free or not, whether you have permissions or not. Use a tool like this that programmatically figures out what images may do really well based on what you're typing. Why would you want to do more grunt work, right? And then based off that, it'll then figure out hashtags that are relevant. And also one thing, we go one step further. We start figuring out which emojis, going back to the point of emojis, which emojis are being used in real time. We've almost built a financial ticker for like stocks. We're built it for emojis to figure out which ones are more popular, which ones are trending. If you want to zig, go ahead with the trends. If you want to zag against the trends, that's fine too. But this is the level of detail and this is the level of data science that even your 10-year-old influencer could be using, because all you have to do is tap, 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 and you're done. In fact, we go one step further, and this is the article that we were talking about, indicating emoji usage driving huge amounts of uplift and engagement. It's not just engagement, it's purchase intent as well. People are more willing to buy when they see a brand utilizing emojis. The only issue is that there are 3,000 of these little guys. It's absolutely impossible to figure out which ones are relevant. Now, if I take this article, and it could be your article too, as a small business, it'll then read the content, give you suggestions for content to use based on the article itself, and then suggest hashtag based on that as well. This is literally a 24/7 best friend working for you at your behest. And it's data science unprecedented, level of precedence for a small business owner.
Now, what are you seeing? What's the artificial intelligence aspects of this? And how have you guys been able to harness AI to be able to help develop this kind of tech?
Well, it goes into multiple things. So we showed you the ability to autocomplete. And by the way, we have an API called worddata.ai that enterprises can use. And so they can get programmatic autocomplete as a service in their platforms with emoji recommendations as well. But the artificial intelligence is that. Not only that, but as you can see on the screen, we're also figuring out at what point is your content too similar for your own good. For example, Twitter. If you don't know this and you use Twitter on a daily basis, you should probably know that Twitter's terms of service as of last year prohibits similar or duplicated content from coming out over and over and over again. They won't hesitate to warn you and then delete your account. So what we do is we figure out how similar is your content using artificial intelligence that we built in-house in the last 60 days. How similar is this piece of content to something you posted in the last 60 days, right? So you're aware of how similar is it getting, or if you're at 100%, like in this case, how much do you have to change to bring it down below 85% in this case for Twitter. In fact, we go one step further also. If you're uploading creative content, if you're a business owner with a lot of promotional offers and motivational quotes, what you'll notice is on the left side in the image is a quote, which I love, but I didn't type it when it comes to the post itself. When you upload in bulk, we give you the ability to let Woofy do the grunt work of reading the image, typing the post based on what it finds, and we use it all the time for promotional offers, for updates, product updates, for motivational quotes. It'll type it for you, and then what you have to do at that point is hit post, or you can go in and just add a couple of emojis and hashtags, and you're good to go.
What about creating? I mean, why is it so important to create a social presence for your business?
Well, as you know, today we have to be socially aware. We need to be, digitally aware. We need to have a component to our business. I don't care if you're a massage parlor or you work, you're a coach online or you run a coffee shop. You need to be where people are searching for you, which is search engines, which is Facebook, which is Twitter, and now TikTok. We've just integrated with TikTok and Instagram. People are looking for the next best coach, the next best coffee shop in the local area. They're looking for you. And if you're not there, like in the old days, if you don't have your sign by the highway, people are not going to stop and, take a pit stop and say, okay, let's, grab a cup of coffee at the McDonald's because they saw the sign. They're just going to drive right by you. And that's what's happening in COVID-19 going around. That's what's happening today, 1,000-fold. If you thought you had the next 5 years to figure this out, I'm sorry, but you should have been there a year ago or a week ago. And if you're not there, your competitors are definitely beating you. And that's why we want to build a tool like this that takes care of so much of the grunt work so that your competition that has unlimited marketing budget, we can take away that advantage. And now you're competing on storytelling. You're competing on your ability to be more creative. And that's truly at the heart of what we're building.
What do you think about the best platforms? I mean, you guys kind of pull together all the main ones. You're bringing in even TikTok, which my kids love, and they're trying to make me a star on that one, by the way, which it's awesome. I love TikTok. So what are the best platforms, do you think? I mean, does it depend on your industry? Does it depend on your demographics you're trying to target? What are you thinking that's getting the most engagement right now?
Here's the thing. Facebook groups are working like wonders for us. In fact, we have a Facebook group called Content Masters, which when if your viewers were to sign up, click on Content Masters on the bottom left, and you can join our community for online entrepreneurs where other entrepreneurs are helping other entrepreneurs. In fact, other customers are also helping other customers of ours figure things out, or, they're suggesting features and they're suggesting what's working and not working. And so I highly, highly recommend your viewers to start using Facebook groups. In fact, Facebook itself has spent hundreds of millions of dollars in advertising and technology upgrades to allow Facebook group admins to have a lot more control, whether it's subscription based or, generating more content and scheduling content, all that stuff. Amazing features have just come out in the last couple of months. And you definitely want to, it's a lot stickier to put people in there and then start conversing with them for your business. Highly recommend Facebook groups. The next thing is obviously TikTok. TikTok is the new kid on the block. We automate posting to it, obviously. We've actually figured out unique ways to take your favorite GIFs or GIFs and your Jiffy files and, post it on TikTok and Instagram, which other platforms don't allow you to do, but ours, we do allow you to do. So it's all about being creative and being 10 steps ahead. Even if you're one step ahead, you are beating competition. And now, as far as the other platform concerned, which are non-social, but we're actually about to integrate with Medium, which is obviously one of the most popular, blogging platforms in the world. We're taking our autocomplete technology to the next level. Imagine being able to autocomplete an entire press release, blog post, journal. Journalism itself is going to be flipped on its head. This technology is now allowing to autocomplete words and sentences as you're typing, whether it's 2,000 words or 5,000 words. And the next thing we're going to do in about 2 months is SEO optimizing this. Now, I don't know, can you name any other platform or any other technology platform that gives you this much capability for $4 a month, the price of a cup of coffee? We want to support SMBs because they're the majority of where the jobs are created. And like you and me, we're entrepreneurs. We want to help other entrepreneurs. Gone are the days that, unlimited marketing budgets would screw small businesses. Today, small businesses are taking back what is theirs.
I love it. Well, you mentioned Medium and HelloWoofy. It looks awesome. What other tech do you think is important for entrepreneurs to really be using right now, especially on the social front?
Well, on the social front, the main platforms that we're integrated with are definitely important. But like Gary Vaynerchuk says, you need to be on the lookout for the next big thing, right? You and I may not know what the next social media platform is, but some kid from somewhere in the part of the world is building it right now. And that's what happens when you use these technologies and you're an early adopter and early innovator. You'll start seeing other competition of that platform appearing out of nowhere. And if you're early there, you'll start hedging your bets saying, oh, maybe TikTok isn't my bet that's going to continue for the next 2 years. Maybe this other, competition B is going to be better at it, or competition C is going to be better at it. You want to be in a position to take advantage of all of these and then hone in on the ones that really take traction. So Medium is an example that people didn't believe in a couple of years ago. But is it beating WordPress? Well, that's up for a debate, right? But is TikTok, people weren't taking it seriously a couple of months ago. But is it something that you should be on today? Absolutely. Some of the advertisers on there are making millions, tens of millions of dollars in return. It is something that you should definitely take, just post anything, just talk to the community. There are Facebook groups about this as well. Be a part of the conversation.
Arjun, what are some things that your clients are doing out there? Because you have thousands. What are you seeing people do right now to survive COVID-19? I mean, that's something you brought up. You're in New York City at the heart of it all. So what are some cool things that you're seeing that people are doing to be able to succeed during all this?
It's all about being creative, right? We want small businesses to, do their marketing, run their business based on creativity and not get, overwhelmed with the grunt work. That's what we're seeing in New York. That's what we're seeing online. There was a restaurant downtown, and all of a sudden they couldn't bring in customers because this was the early days of COVID-19 and lockdown. What they did was they turned their restaurant into a grocery store. While other restaurants around them were shutting down and laying off people, they were in business. They were selling food. They were selling food to people who were, trying to get to the grocery store. They couldn't get to the grocery store because, all the shelves were empty. They turned their business upside down. They threw out the chairs. They put the chairs in the back and the tables, and they turned the front into a grocery store. That's the level of creativity that you should have. That's a small business owner, and that restaurant has probably been there for a decade or two. That's the quick pace thinking that, we're seeing online. People who are coaches, they're reducing their prices, obviously, for one thing, but they're launching Facebook groups. They're launching more courses online. They're reducing course prices. They're introducing free tiers. They're trying to get more, eyeballs on their products. The fact of the matter is more people are on Zoom, like you and I are today, than ever before. Global internet usage has gone up 15%, right? People who are in the venture capital industry, they're pulling back. So now what happens is an innovative platform like Republic or Start Engine or Seed Invest, they're pushing forward and saying, hey, this is the new way of raising capital. You want to take advantage. You want to be in the moment, think on the, at the moment, and take advantage of the tools that be in front of you.
A lot of people, start businesses in recessions. Yeah. And so as people are getting started, well, what do you think are the biggest mistakes that startups make when they're trying to get started with social?
Spending too much. You should not be spending on paid marketing unless you have a good amount of users already on board. Here's the secret about how we're expanding, and you can expand as well. Something known as Facebook lookalike audiences is probably the unheard secret in small business America. And that's because Facebook wants you to spend more capital. Whenever you see, you may see a notification saying, this post is getting a lot of engagement. If you spend another $25, you'll get X amount of engagement or X amount of likes, right? That is their way of telling you to spend more money without getting much results. This is a secret. In our case, once we had the first 1,000 users, we had obviously we had the demographic, we had the personalities, we had the DNA that would make an ideal user. We had that. When you go to Facebook lookalike audiences, and this is something you should talk with your agency partners or anyone who's in your network and has done paid marketing, that will then find the other ties of the world who are already customers of ours. It'll find the next million ties at a price point that is more affordable and more honed in. So we're not talking about, if you're talking about funnel marketing, we're not talking about being at the top, which is about awareness. We're talking about being somewhere in the middle or at the end, where we already know where we can find the other ties of the world. And probably 80% of them will convert, and maybe 50% of them will actually buy the product, because we know exactly the kinds of people who like, this kind of a product, who, tend to have certain kinds of behaviors, things of that nature. That's how you should be spending your capital. Do not spend capital on trying to get 1,000 more likes because your one post did really well, or you're just going to, pray that Google Ads will work all of a sudden, because Google Ads has something similar as well. You need to be intelligent with your capital. Otherwise, focus on product and let word of mouth marketing do its magic. When you get a first few hundred users, let them share the product with other people. So once you have a critical mass, this is obviously, we're talking about SaaS products and technology-driven products, then you can go out into the marketing world and use paid marketing to your advantage and make money. We're getting 3 to 6 ROAS, which is unheard of for a small business owner or a small company like ours in 6 months. And for your viewers who don't know what ROAS means, for every dollar, we get 3 to 6 back in terms of return on ad spend. That is unheard of for a company that's only been in market for 5 or 6 months.
What are you finding that's working well with advertising on social?
We're predominantly using Facebook right now, and we just started doing YouTube ads. We don't have much metrics on that right now, but what I can say is they have a very similar targeting engine as well. You want to be intelligent. Look, HelloWoofy and many other companies, which you're going to see in the next couple of years, but we're definitely leading the pack. They're going to be bringing down the enterprise technology, which the 1% have been using for a very long time, and bringing it down to a price point that you and I can afford. HelloWoofy is leading the way in organic marketing. We're going to get into paid very soon. We're already getting into content marketing. We're going to get into email very soon as well. And so we're going to be able to do the same level of programmatic advertising that big companies are doing as small businesses. And that's where we're going to be going in the next couple of years.
HelloWoofy is a phenomenal resource to help entrepreneurs manage their social media platforms. But a lot of things that I see is that they're not even getting their profile set up on social. So what is some advice you have there of helping people kind of set up their profiles right on the social to then have the best chance of using an app like HelloWoofy to then manage their channel and have a good organic reach?
This is the same problem that Edison ran into, right, a couple of generations ago, where he built a light bulb, but no one had electricity, right? They needed to build the electrical grid. They need to build the electrical the manufacturing facility. So you're talking about a similar problem. Well, here's the fact of the matter. The light bulb was built 5 years ago. The electrical grid is pretty much all over the internet. You should really, as a listener or a viewer, you should really be taking advantage and building your own electrical grid at home. Basically upgrading your business. The best way you can do it is we're about to launch a free course for people to run their own social media management businesses from home. It's going to be out in about a month or so. Keep an eye out on our socials and in our emails. If you haven't signed up for our email, go to HelloWoofy.com and sign up for a newsletter. We're going to give you a course that should be worth thousands of dollars for free. If you're a customer of HelloWoofy, and which, by the way, is $49 a year forever, you're going to get grandfathered in. You're going to be able to take advantage of the course, plus use a tool like this. And with the announcement that's coming out later this month, you're going to be able to do a lot more and a lot more you're going to have a lot more capabilities for sure. Like, let's just say the Fortune 50 companies of the world, they're going to get their AVP whooped in no time from Small Business America.
How are you seeing, what's some of the coolest things that you're seeing on social media?
The use of emojis, it's so underrated. But we were on the TV show, and Tim Draper, who's one of our investors, a billionaire, he was like, this is the most unique thing I've ever seen. And you guys can watch the episode on TV. It's called Meet the Drapers, meetthedrapers.com. And we were just on air a couple of weeks ago. And he was like, AI for emojis, the most unique thing I've ever seen, right? Because it's such a small thing, but if you think about why Pinterest is doing really well, or did really well in the beginning, or Instagram is doing really well, or TikTok is doing really well, is because we're visual creatures. We come from the era of hieroglyphics, and yeah, we've done a little bit of calligraphy here and there, but calligraphy itself is based on picture-based communication, right? And so we're going back to what we call emojis or emoticons, because we're still visual people. You can't take that out of us. Now, if you choose to use it for marketing, good for you, because the way you do marketing really well is when it seems like it's not marketing at its core. It's just naturally in front of you, communicating the right message, communicating the right vibe that the brand is supposed to convey. Otherwise, it seems artificial, it seems fake, and you turn off the potential customer itself, right? So with emojis, which is why we're doing so much, we're focusing on emojis with worddata.ai and emojidata.ai, which are our APIs. We want to focus on that because that's the next thing, is using the right amount of emojis, the right emojis themselves, not overdoing it, so that whether you're doing an email, you're writing a social post, you're writing a blog post, you can be in a position to benefit from that and not just do it for the sake of doing it.
What other cool trends are you seeing besides emojis and TikTok?
Well, emojis and TikTok and video is coming back. I mean, if video was, YouTube has obviously been there for a very long time, but video today is taking off like anything. That's why you're seeing hardware, trying to keep up, struggling to keep up with the use of the use of videos. If you take a look at the new iPhone, if you take a look at the iPhones from the last few years, Apple itself is struggling to keep up with the hardware. They're introducing more, higher 4K resolutions. They're introducing more capacities in the phone, because literally everyone, what they're doing is they're taking their phone and becoming a podcast owner, or they're becoming a YouTube, influencer. And then now the next thing is, how do you take the video off of this, edit, and then make it broadcast quality so that you can post it online, right? That's the friction that, startups need to figure out. But video, like TikTok, it's taking off because people want to see you face to face. And they want to see you not just, in a static way, but in an animated way. They want to see the face moving. They want to see you negotiating, in person. Video is taking off. And actually, with COVID-19 going on, Zoom and, Google Meet and all these other tools, they're gonna be leading the pack. And I'm sure there's gonna be a startup that comes out and, everyone crushes them. I was looking at the Geico commercial. They're doing Geico commercials now in the design of a Zoom interface, right? You have 4, Geico employees on the side, and you got the main person in the middle, and then they have like static key. One of the people is like he's coming across all static key. It's the new thing, right? So people are making fun of what we're going through right now, but that's video. It is where it is.
That's awesome. Arjun, I've loved having you on. As we wrap up, what are some other, some other closing tips that you may have for people that are really trying to have an impact on social media right now?
I would say, first off, get started with a free account at HelloWoofy.com. You can get started, literally get started today. It has a limited usage, has a limited capability, but you'll start seeing the benefit of getting on social. Now, if you're not on social yet, I highly recommend take a Facebook group, start a Facebook group, and take it and talk about your demographic, your core, business itself. If you're in the restaurant industry, start a Facebook group about how do you help other chefs find jobs, right? Maybe other chefs are looking for jobs, and there is no Upwork of chefs, right? There's no Upwork for freelance chefs. Maybe you want to help, people find jobs in your local community. Be creative. Use social to drive sales, but then also have the kinds of conversation you would have had in your restaurant anyways. We always remember the restaurant owners who, come to the table and have a conversation with us. Well, now you have the entire world as your stage. How are you going to take advantage of that? So that's one thing. Now, and then of course, if you want to upgrade and, you take advantage of the $49 a year lifetime, membership, which is again, a year, and it's not a one-time fee, it's not a monthly fee. Take advantage of that and start telling us what's working for you, what's not working for you. And if you want certain features built, tell me in Content Masters, email me at arjun@hellowoofy.com, and we very well may build it for you and for your business. That's our commitment to small businesses all over the world.
Arjun, thanks for doing what you do, man. I loved it. This is one of the coolest podcasts we've done because I actually got to see what you're actually talking about. I'm a visual person, as many people are. I love it. I love those, especially that emoji generator. That was cool. The thing that recommends emojis. I love it. So I love what you're doing, man. Keep it up.
Thank you so much, Ty. And if there's anything we can do for you or your viewers, feel free to reach out. Like I said, we're here as business owners. We have an obligation to support other business owners. And while we're doing really well, and again, we're about to launch a second equity crowdfunding platform as well, I certainly hope many of you will take advantage and try to own a piece of our company at $100 at a time. Let me know how we can help you, and feel free to reach out at any point.
So everybody, hopefully you enjoyed this. A lot of stuff. I mean, we dove into a lot of really good tips on how to successfully be on social, how to use organic traffic. It doesn't cost you anything to actually really be a hit on social. And as Arjun said, it's free trial with HelloWoofy. As a matter of fact, it's beyond affordable to continue after that free trial. So check it out. You saw just a little smidgen of what it can do, but you can take it for a test drive at absolutely zero cost out of pocket to get started. So make sure you visit HelloWoofy.com. That's hello, HELLO, Woofy, WOOFY.com to check it out and get your free trial. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.